Boom, and then go here because for whatever reason it doesn't start on its own.
Because I'm black.
What's going on, Gabriel? How you doing, man? Welcome. All right. Welcome. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Good Tuesday to you all. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, CMCT. I am your host, Choice Skinner. On my right side is my co-host,
Antonio Dean.
Yes, the man with the plan. Absolutely.
What's up, everybody?
Yeah, what's up, everybody? So, don't know which part of the country you're in. If you're in a nice, warm place, good for you. We're in a place that's about to start getting a little cold. We're starting to feel that's why you see us in the hoodies. Shout out to my girl, Pachanda Dubose from Ferguson. I'm wearing your shirt. I'm repping.
Oh, that's dope.
Yes, always repping. Got to rep. You guys, if you send us clothing, we will wear it. If you sponsor us, we will do a great job with promoting your product that you send us.
Every day,
B. Every day. People wearing product every day, B.
Straight up.
So, yes.
That's me.
Yeah. You didn't do the snap thing.
There it is.
There it is. All right. There we go. Gotta have the lights going. Sounds good. We're doing checks now. We're making sure we check everything before we get started on what we got going on, because sometimes we be moving and things just
having some technical difficulties and
severe technical difficulties. But yeah, we're making it happen. So we actually had some work done to our link tree. Right?
Yes, we did.
The link tree. Antonio did some work this weekend to the link tree. Made some additions to it. So when you go to our link tree, you'll see some things that may interest you. Okay.
We got some options on there for. As a matter of fact, I'll even pull it up for the. Let's pull it up for YouTube real quick before we get into everything. So let's see, guys. There we are. We're offering the option to go ahead and tip us if you'd like. You know what I'm saying? If you're on YouTube, you can see what's going on.
Yeah.
You can also send us special requests. We're offering personalized video messages. 1 minute video for $10 or a 20-minute video. Excuse me, not 20-minute video. A 2-minute video for $20. And then we also got a holiday discount going on right now, therapeutic venting session for obvious legal reasons, but that is only $59 an hour. And then we also are offering 20-minute interviews for the pre-recorded interviews for our channel at $75 for that 20 minutes.
Yes. And mind you that holiday discount ends at the end of December. So December 31st
Correct.
Is when it's over, and it goes back to our normal rate.
Which is $100 an hour.
Yes. And so we wanted to offer, because we know that the holiday season, we talked about this on our show, dealing with depression.
Yes, sir.
Holiday season is hardest for everyone. So we realized that, and Antonio, in his grace and kindness, thought that it would be a great idea to offer this, because we are great listeners, and we are guys who are wise and astute in what we do and how we do it. So
we want everyone to be well.
We want everyone to be well, mentally, physically, spiritually. Can't help you financially, but we know in certain areas we are able to help in some regard.
I'll pray for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
On the financial end?
Yeah.
So welcome, everybody who is joining us today. We really appreciate you guys. The week is starting out to be very productive, and hopefully you guys are having a productive week so far. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Hopefully from what we talked about in the last show, you've been putting certain things into effect, because there were a couple of challenges, and I don't know if you guys remember, for you guys who had tuned in last week,
He challenged you to go to the mall and beat somebody up.
No.
And take their money and report back to us, and we let you know how you did.
Right.
Based on your spoils.
Yeah, there you go. Right, right. No. We the challenge was basically to go and sit and to engage in conversation with someone. That was the first challenge.
Correct.
To go in and engage in conversation with someone. Hello, Joan. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining tonight. The challenge was also accountability, which is usually a consistent challenge that we have to hold yourself accountable in regards to who you are and to see things in a certain perspective before you look at everybody else as being the thing that causes you wrong. Which kind of segues a little bit into our show tonight in regards to what we're going to talk about. And I know that it's a tough subject because people have their perspective on it. They have the different thought processes in regards to how they approach this subject matter. It mostly from how maybe you were raised in the household you were raised in. What's going on, Moika? And also how you see things in life and how you've worked towards becoming the person that you are. A lot of times people have different perspectives in regards to certain things. And tonight's subject matter, the topic is judgment. What does it mean to judge others? What does it mean to be judged? What is judgment? Is it a correct thing? Is it something that you don't have the right to do? You shouldn't judge others, or is it something that makes you a bad person if you judge others? Are people judging you because they think that you're a bad person? It's a lot of different levels in regards to this thing. So, hey, cuz, love you. So, I guess we need to start out. We always start out our shows with definitions, correct definitions.
Because we want to be definitive
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that we are using our spells properly.
Mm-hmm.
Words have meanings, and you don't get to just make up your own definition. Use words all willy-nilly, confuse the world, yourself, and more than likely your own reality.
Yes. And when he says the word spell, because I know a lot of people be like, what you mean spell? Well, that's where the root of the word spelling is. If you're spelling words, you are spelling, and it's the same thing. So it's not
You're casting spells
right,
verbally.
verbally.
Your reality is what you speak.
Yes. Hello, Kashan. How you doing? Welcome. So, okay. Judge. Judge is a noun. Judge, one who makes judgments, such as a public official authorized to decide questions brought before a court. B, one appointed to decide in a contest or competition. An umpire is a judge. C, one who gives an authoritative opinion. D, critic. That's pretty much the whole world when it comes to Kyrie and Kanye at this point. E, often capitalized, a tribal hero exercising leadership among the Hebrews after the death of Joshua. So, Judge, you look at Judges, the book of Judges in the Bible. So that's kind of what they were referring to for those who don't know. To be judged or judging, it is a transitive verb. 1, to form an opinion about through careful weighing of evidence and testing of premises. 2, to form an estimate or evaluation of. Okay, so in essence, trying to judge the amount of time required, especially to form a negative opinion about, like someone shouldn't judge him because of his accent. 3, to hold as an opinion, guess or think. And basically the summary, I judge she knew what she was doing. 4, to sit in judgment on, or to try, T-R-Y, which a lot of people get that word try confused with the word attempting to try. So for anyone that knows the Bible, the word T-R-Y is the judgment, not attempting.
Trial, and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah, that clarity of that. 5, to determine or pronounce after inquiry and deliberation, they judged him guilty. 6, to govern, rule, the use of a Hebrew tribal leader. Again, intransitive verb, to form an opinion, or 2, to decide as a judge, a judger. That's the noun.
Correct. Now, let's see. From Wikipedia, the judgment, or in the U.S. spelling, blah, 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 without an E, which I did not know that, actually. I thought it was always with an E. Anyway, is also known as adjudication, which means the evaluation of evidence to make a decision. Judgment is also the ability to make considered decisions. The term has at least 5 distinct uses. Aristotle suggested we think of the opposite, different uses of a term, if one exists, to help determine if the uses are really different. Some opposites will be included here to help demonstrate that their uses are really distinct. Informal, opinions expressed as facts. Informal and psychological, used in reference to the quality of cognitive faculties, and adjudicational. Is that what that is?
That's absolutely what it is.
And adjudicational capabilities of particular individuals, typically called wisdom or discernment. Mm-hmm. The opposites are foolishness or indiscretion. Mm-hmm. Formal, the mental act of affirming or denying one thing of another through comparison. I think they meant to put or. Judgments are communicated to others using agreed upon terms in the form of words or algebraic symbols as meanings to form propositions relating the terms, and whose further asserted meanings of relation are interpreted by those trying to understand the judgment. Legal, used in the context of legal trial to refer to a final finding, statement, or ruling based on a considered weighing of evidence called adjudication. Opposites could be suspension or deferment of adjudication. I don't believe we'll be dealing with the legal
that's not
definition of that.
It's not out the party.
Here's a good one. Personality judgment, a psychological phenomenon of a person forming opinions of other people.
Which pretty much is
where we're going.
Yeah.
Informal, formal.
Absolutely.
And psychological.
Yeah,
is what we're looking at today.
Yeah, because if you look at informal and psychological, personality judgment kind of falls under that. I guess they just wanted to make sure that we were, zeroed in on that to understand that there is that slight difference. Okay, so we have a little bit of our power. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Lady Muse. Welcome, Charles Curtis. Welcome, Maddox. All right. Let's get to the nitty-gritty. Let's make it tough before it gets easy.
Make it tough before it gets easy.
Yeah, all right. And we're going to go over this article in a second, but let's just start the discussion. Why do you think people are quick to not want to be judged? Let's look at it that way.
Well, there are negative connotations associated with the word. Mm-hmm. I believe a lot of that is based on religious positioning. Mm-hmm. Really comes down to that. And then beyond that, the idea, again, which I guess it's not really beyond that, it goes to the negative connotation, which is we associate being judged with being ridiculed or looked down upon, being shamed, and so forth. Mm-hmm. And when you're experiencing those three, either of those three actions, majority of humans tend to be put in a position where now they're having to look in the mirror and assess themselves. Mm-hmm. And typically speaking, majority of us do misjudge ourselves. Mm-hmm. We misrate ourselves, misrank ourselves as well. I think that's what that is.
Yeah, because I find that a lot of people tend to want to be good people. They want to see themselves as good people. Mm-hmm. And that becomes the catalyst of the issue in the argument, because it's like, all right, even Jesus said, why do you call me good? He's like, do you know what good? So basically he was asking people, do you really know what good is? Because all of our perspective and perceptions of good is different. It's relative. It's different, right?
Correct.
And so what I've learned about judgment, And it's one of these things where people, they hate to be judged. Mostly, primarily, being an acting coach for the 12 years that I was in Los Angeles, you learn a lot about human behavior, psychology specifically. People really don't like people looking at them.
No, they don't.
You know what I mean? But we work really hard for the attention. Isn't that odd?
To be presentable so that we don't have to face judgment from others.
Right, but in that aspect, you're still going to be judged. Correct. So it's kind of a form of madness if you think about it. I'm doing everything in my power not to be judged, but I want people to pay attention to me and to not so much judge me, but look at me.
I agree.
And then to be upset at, because we're both artists, right? And so when we do our work, we want people to respect our work, to realize that we're coming from a place with it, but there's different respects and different appreciation levels of the work, right?
Well, a true artist wants someone to experience their work.
But not judge it.
Experience.
Right.
Whatever that amounts to.
Right. So does that just because you create it, does that mean you don't get the right to, for people to judge it?
No.
So they have the right to judge it. Is it
anything that you present to the public is up for judgment and interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything.
Why do you think people have a problem with that? Why do you think, especially artists? Let's talk about artists for a while, because I got a lot of artists in tonight. Welcome everybody. Why do you think? Because I spent a lot of time working with artists, and from music and from film, helping them to understand that you're going to be judged in regards to the work, because the work is subjective. That's what gave me peace. Like, a lot of times when people would say, hey, I don't really care for this. And I was like, well, then it's not for you.
Plain and simple.
Right. And that's a double entendre. Like, I didn't make it for people who don't like it, and I didn't make it for you because you don't like it.
Which goes to what I have been saying lately. We're not for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
but we are for anyone who cares to ask.
Right, right. And who cares to look at it with how it's brought. Because you can, let's say for instance, what I'm holding up right now, I'm holding up this cloth here.
Okay.
Now, some people will look at the cloth and say, I don't like it or I like it, right? Then you have the third person who would say, I like it, but it could be better, right? Which is, that person is either a critic or they're somebody who sees outside the box, right? Because there's those people who goes, you know what? It could be this, and I could take it this, which is like a song. If you have certain songs that were made, and then that person takes that old song and
turns it into something else.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, that's even hotter, right? When we're looking at that, is that fair to the content? Is it fair to the content that we're taking it upon ourselves to be like, I don't like it, and shredding it, and I like it, but it could be better, compared to the person that just, I like it, and just moves on.
Is there a contract that's established as an artist when you pass your work on for the world to see?
That's a very valid question.
Because if there's not, whatever your expectations were, they're kind of null.
Well,
at that point.
Okay, so let's add on to that. What if the contract is unspoken, but because prime example. When Milli Vanilli, for you guys, it's maybe beyond your time, but there was a group, a duo named Milli Vanilli. They actually made a movie about it, and it's coming out. And I never forget this. I was talking about my friend Michelle today. She had bought "Girl, You Know It's True." It was a cassette or whatever. And when Milli Vanilli got caught about lip syncing,
when they got ousted, yeah.
They took their Grammy first off, and then what they did was they said, all right, if you bought the record, you can return it. If you bought the record, the tape or the record, you can return it. And Michelle took it back. I never forget, she took it back. She said, I'm taking it back. And I'm like, but you enjoyed it all the way up to this point. Is is that a contract? Is that okay? Look, you guys enjoyed it, but minus this falseness, now you want to bring it back.
I think that was very gracious of them
Mm-hmm.
to afford customers that option, but were they obligated to do that? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
at all.
So what are your thought process and what is your thought
Not for
process?
that reason, at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the thing that I'm looking to have clarity for the audience is what do you think in regards to when we're saying a contract? Is it a physical contract, verbal contract, or is it just an unspoken contract?
I don't think there can be an unspoken contract.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm offering the world my art, whether that's sold or given away for free, however it is that is disseminated and distributed. You have the option just to not consume it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't think that there is any verbal, or excuse me, nonverbal, or assumed contract of any sort.
Mm-hmm.
You put it out for the world.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a wood chipper of sorts. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to consuming the things that people share with you.
Content. Yeah. I mean, we can even go back to in the '70s when the Disco Sucks movement happened, and they went into the Met Stadium and they destroyed all those records. Witch hunts, they call them. You know what I mean? Witch hunts, or burning an effigy, which is just basically making a statue of somebody or a dummy of somebody, and you take it to the town square and you burn it. That's a form of judgment, wouldn't you think?
That's an extreme form of judgment.
Yeah, and that's dangerous because the thing is that
symbolism.
It is. Yeah. It is. So what I think we need to do before we start taking people in, if you guys have questions and you have statements and stuff, please, we love for you guys to be interactive. You can message us if you're on Instagram. If you're on YouTube, definitely hit us in the chat. And Facebook, same thing. We'd love to see what your thoughts are on this topic tonight.
For sure.
Alex, welcome.
Brother Alex.
Saw you in your Wakanda Forever outfit.
You know what I'm saying?
The white outfit.
All white.
Yeah. We saw you. So we spoke about the movie last week sometime, so we missed you because you weren't in the audience. All right, so okay. So we are talking tonight about judgment, all right? And the topic so far, what we're speaking on is why do people not like being judged? What do you think that is? Why do you think people don't like being judged? And Antonio mentioned that it's a thing of, people don't
want to look. They don't want to see themselves in the mirror.
Yeah, and I took the other end of the spectrum and I said, people want to have themselves be judged. In a sense, it's unconscious in a sense, but they do want to be judged. They want people to look at them, but
they want people to rank them highly.
Right, and if it doesn't work out, it's a problem, right? You put something on, all of a sudden.
Lizzo, you know what I'm saying? Or at least her fans, maybe not her, but her fans want the world to be absolutely impressed.
Yeah.
At 400 pounds,
yeah,
moving and dancing and feigning sexiness and all of this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then get mad at the dudes if they're not attracted to her.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That's what's going on with society now. I mean, obviously here at Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, we talk a lot about topics that are pretty much current.
This is an extreme version of the No Child Left Behind laws.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone's included. Participation trophies and so forth.
Yeah. I think that the reason why, just staying on topic, the reason why people don't like being judged is because of the attention that comes with it. They want that attention to be a certain type of attention, and it backfires.
Mm-hmm.
And then it backfires. It's like you can look at Instagram and look at all the different social media now. People, it's always odd to see people go a little bit beyond, right? They go
for them. It's the real world.
Yeah, in a sense, but they also want the attention, right? So I got a lot of people they'll go a little bit, they'll go out um
They get the hat with the feather in it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
and they do a little bit more than what they would normally used to do because they need the attention or they crave it or they want it. And then it's a problem when Nana or grandmama or auntie call it, child, you doing too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's a form of judging if you guys ain't realized. If somebody's not, listen, I always say, look, if you want to give someone some negative comments, or if you're going to give them something that is critical, give them a way out. Give them a way out. So it's kind of, because the thing is if you're going to speak up, you have to be willing to do something to back up your action. So if you don't like something, then give that person a way to fix it or a way out to where they can.
You're saying a solution, offer a solution.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I don't think that's my responsibility.
Right?
I don't think it is. You put yourself out there. I don't think you deserve to be castrated or killed, but simple judgment. That's a funny looking hat. Mm-hmm. Well, to that person, it's a funny looking hat.
Is that on if you spoke your opinion or if they asked of your opinion?
I don't think that matters. See,
that's where I'm a little different. I believe if you're asked, like I always tell people always ask me, they say, hey man, I want to get your opinion on something. Well, if you know me.
Yeah, it's so okay. So you ask someone for their opinion, sure. Mm-hmm. They go in depth, That's great. Mm-hmm. But I think in general, I'm saying you walk by somebody and they look at your shoes or your outfit because maybe you did something goofy that day. Or to you, it wasn't goofy, it was eccentric, it was stylish, whatever. You deserve whatever comes with how you presented yourself.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Like you can't monitor people's response to what your actions are. Yeah, I mean,
you don't get to dictate.
That's right.
Those responses.
That's right. Because that goes back to the 304 girls when we were talking about that. It's one of those things where it's like people feel like they can act out and they're not going to be
teacher doesn't get to show up to a classroom wearing a thong and expect everybody to be about the books. That doesn't make sense.
Right, and that's a serious issue with the world today in our community, especially as Black people. We just feel like, okay, I can do whatever the hell I want. And
there's a lack of shame.
There is.
Huge lack of shame as a result of what I was saying earlier. It was kind of off subject, but I think it's good to discuss how the world got to this point of no one gets to say anything about anyone for any reason. How does that make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Then you might as well just do away with all laws, all forms of etiquette, all forms of consciousness. It doesn't make any sense. Welcome everybody. Jay, how you doing? DJ Brick City, what's going down? Yeah, my boy Ivan said agreed.
But Will said to see you without really seeing the real you. I think that was his response to.
Is that what people want?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you okay. To see you without seeing the real you, yeah, because we all wear 3 different masks. We wear the mask.
The representatives.
Yeah, we wear the mask that we want people to see. We wear the mask who others see, and we wear the mask of who we really are. Who you are, who others see you are, and who you think you are.
And all of that was aggrandized or amplified by social media.
Yeah,
I think, and this is something I've thought since I was a kid. Or teenager rather, social media gives you the opportunity to really see who someone is mentally.
I agree.
Mentally and emotionally.
I agree, and that's
you get to see that without any
no
cushion. No cushion, no filter. This whoever it is they portray themselves to be online is typically who they truly want to be.
Right, and even if they have filters, right, it's still the fact that they have filters.
But that's how they truly want the world to see them.
Yes.
I think that's important to recognize in people.
My boy Ivan said it's always good to receive feedback and know where you stand among your peers, but judgment is not about stripping dignity. Wow, that's a good phrase. The one true judge is the Most High. Humility should come from both sides. Yeah, listen, I agree. I mean, and I think that's kind of what Antonio was saying. The problem is that everybody's different. So you don't know how people are going to respond to what you put out there. And the reason why I use content is because a lot of people are putting up content. If you're putting up a picture of you eating something, that's content.
Yeah.
And we all like different types of food. Like right now what's popular is you see a lot of the vegan people making vegan dishes, and they go, vegan barbecue.
This is exactly like the real thing.
Vegan barbecue, vegan chicken strips, vegan.
I don't know about that one, baby. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, that's passion fruit. I'm not eating that shit.
No.
You deep fried passion fruit and dipped it in buffalo sauce. I'm not fucking with that.
Right. Hey, no disrespect to anybody vegan, because we have some amazing vegan friends and people we love in our families and in our community who are vegan. No disrespect.
You're all good at what you do. It's just not for us.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm cool on vegan hot sauce. I'm cool on vegan cheese. I don't need vegan television or none of that other shit. I'm cool on it.
Call it what it is. If it's soy, call it fried soy.
Yeah. I don't need carrot bacon. You know what I mean? I don't want none of that shit.
Fried mushrooms, whatever it is, that's what it is. And so that's a point of what we're talking about. I don't ever it's like it would be someone looking at someone who eats beef and be like, you eat that? And then they're going in. That's kind of what you're alluding to, Ivan. You know what I mean?
You go, oh, wow, he does that? That's not for me.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Leave it at that.
Yeah, that's it.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's not your business. Yeah. Look away. That's Bill Burr talks about this, and this is going to go up a little bit, but he was talking about the LGBT community and the hate. The hate that they push back at people not wanting to be a part of whatever it is that they're pushing. Mm-hmm. And one of his jokes he tells about, he went to a restaurant, he's sitting down, he was having a cookie or whatever the fuck it was, and there was a table with two gay men and they were kissing, mm-hmm. and he was eating and he had seen him, and he looked away. Mm-hmm. He minded his business. He's like, not for me, that's what y'all niggas doing. Mm-hmm. And then apparently some lady got an attitude about it. And
about his response.
About his response to that shit, which really was, that's gross, it's not for me. And he looked away. Mm-hmm. He didn't go over the table, flip that, get up out of here. He said, look, think about it this way. The reason why we watch porn, right? The kind of porn you watch kind of is who you are, right?
Absolutely.
You watch porn because I can see myself in that scenario. Mm-hmm. If I am watching some dude plowing a chick, I'm like, yep, if I was him, nigga, that's what I would be doing too. If I see a porn video of two niggas kissing, sorry to tell you, I don't really see myself in that situation. I can't. For you. I have no place in there, so let me look away or let me not. I never Googled it to begin with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why we have those responses on the spot, because they're honest.
Right.
Oh wow, that's not for me.
Right.
You've come across that accidentally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And pouring some shit happens. Like, oh, whoa, not me. No, hold on, nigga. I got a whole different vibe. Let me go back. You know what I'm saying?
I think it goes into a violation of a person's preference at that point.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
It's like that person should have a preference. I think that the whole world is not the same. Like, we're not all the same.
We don't have to accept whatever the game is that anyone is playing.
Yeah, that's where that phrase
that's
is.
your
you
game.
Like it, I love it.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, I want
to each his own.
Yeah, to each his own. And I think that as we continue as a society, I think that's it. Part of love is sacrifice. If you look at it, right. One equates into the other. So sacrificing in that moment, a grandiose response compared to just like Bill Burr, he just kind of scrunched his face. That's his business.
And went back to eating his fucking cookie, looking the opposite direction.
Sure.
Nigga, that ain't for me.
Sure. And so that's part of that. You show tolerance in how you respond to certain things and how you respond to people and how you deal with people that are in your space. Because we all share space. Even if you got a house out 60 miles away by yourself, there's still space that's going to be occupied by someone else.
Correct.
You know, and so you got to go into town to get supplies.
I don't do Christmas, nigga, but I'm not throwing tissue and eggs and shit at my neighbor's
Absolutely.
house. They on that shit right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got all of that going on. I'm not with the slingshot putting out the inflatables and all of that shit.
Yeah.
Enjoy your Christmas, man.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Over here though, I'll probably be asleep on Christmas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it is what it is. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay for us to be that different. Right here, it's okay for us to be that different out in public. It's okay for us to be that different in the workplace. During travels, you know, you're not. No one has to partake in your activities, in your preferences. Can they respect them? Sure.
Well, they should, but you know,
should maybe not even respect, accept that is what you want. Sure. Plain as that. No more, no less. It's not an attack because someone doesn't also like tomatoes on their, on their Big Mac or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
That's personal.
Yeah. And I would see it a lot because I'm not a drinker or a smoker. I don't, and several of people in my life, Lady Muse, I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah, I got one too.
Yeah, okay. Several people in my life, we don't, we're a cluster of people who don't drink or smoke or anything like that. Yeah. And we would go into certain environments and people would literally, like, their whole night would be ruined because they were like, man, I don't feel good around you if I don't drink or smoke, or if you don't drink or smoke or something like that.
Yeah,
and
which is weird. I've
yeah,
never understood that.
Yeah, and it was, what I started realizing was that they thought that I was judging them.
Yep, correct.
Because I would be cognizant and they would be in their intoxicated
whatever their zone
state.
is.
Yeah, and they would think that I would hold that against them. Which is like, no, I actually done my madness sober. So would you judge me for being cognitive about? Like, I did what I wanted to do, knowing I was going to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, would you judge me on that? Because I tell people all the time, trust me, I'm wild without the booze and stuff. I don't, and I'm very much to the point, but I'm a different being because I'm an extremist. Lady Muse said lots of generalizations, kind of funny, entertaining stuff, people watching. Lots of generalizations, kind of funny, entertaining stuff, people watching.
The one above.
Oh, people watching. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the top one. Yeah. I don't know if you all touched on it, but there is this show, What Would You Do, that basically, yes, puts real people in scenarios to see what you do. Yes, it is a good show. It's a very good show.
It's called What Would You Do?
It's called What Would You Do?
Remind me of that.
Yes.
I'll watch that
What
later.
Would You Do? And the scenarios are, they take real life scenarios. Like one was like a couple kissing. They did that one, and the respect of, like, okay, one was a little more dynamic. They had a guy in there with his girl, right? And then the girl leaves, and then a guy comes in, and the guy's kissing the other guy. And the couples are watching, and they're seeing all this. People in the restaurant are seeing all this, and they're like, you should go tell her that, people would literally come and tell the guy, oh my God, that's your fiance. You should tell her before you get married that you like men and that you're seeing this guy. Like, people would either, like, not say nothing, but they would respond, and you could see their response. Or people would, like, there would be one person to get up and say something to that person.
I'm the old man with the newspaper. I see that shit and go right back to my newspaper. Yeah. None of my business, baby.
Yeah, me too. Sorry about this, guys.
Yeah, come on, baby.
I had it on
Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, but it must have cut it off. I don't know why.
Well, in the meantime, let me read this real quick. For my good friend Patty, she says, I've seen a lot of examples of people being bold with a lack of shame in their actions, but then when the judgment comes, i.e. everyone's opinions, they present a lot of sensitivity where the shamelessness once was.
Very much true. That's what we were kind of talking about. You see it on Instagram.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've had friends. I've had friends step out and just say, like, I'm just gonna go all out. You know what I'm saying? I done leaned up. I look great, male and female. I'm not just talking about the guys, because the guys are out of control nowadays.
Yes, they are.
I'm afraid to open my Instagram. Because I follow a lot of bodybuilders and stuff, people who I used to train with.
Dude, you seen him the last couple, so he was in the sauna and he was like this, and I was like, God, that's my nigga, but God damn, man.
And it just pops up.
You have no choice. It's quick. It's like, God damn it. Scroll, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and sometimes you scroll and look away and you might be focused on something else and look back and like, oh shit.
A story come up and they're doing the Beyonce dance.
Look, that nigga had all kind of shit this last week because he had a competition. So he was with the sweat and just all kind of crazy shit. I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to unfollow this nigga for a couple days, man. I get it. Congratulations. He won too,
Congratulations, brother, because I got one coming up. One of my boys, he's Joshua. Listen, it's one of those things where, and it doesn't mean that we're knocking it. Do you?
No hate at all.
What I'm saying? It's just that sometimes it's the most inopportune, inappropriate times where it pops up. Even chicks. I mean, I got girls, man. They lose some weight and booty shots and
right,
and it pops up. I'm like, oh, so. But you can't, and usually those people, the people that come at them the most are their family.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the judgment you get is not always from the public, because the public sometimes, if you're a good-looking person and you're on Instagram and you putting up, like half-naked photos or sexy pictures and stuff, you got people who are following you every day that loves that stuff.
Correct.
Judgment ain't gonna come from them because they're not the ones. If anything, they double tap it or they just scroll through it or maybe screen cap it, whatever. It's your family's gonna be like, "Why are you doing that? Oh my God, I don't want to see all of that."
Because your family knows you as one person.
That's it. And we
see you one way.
We talked about that.
They don't see you as this sex symbol. You know what I'm saying? However it is you present yourself on the internet. It's typically not how your family sees you.
Yeah, and a lot of those people that are doing it, man, they are finding themselves. I've learned that social media is a way to find yourself. You said it perfectly, man. That you want to get to know people, and I'm like that. I always tell people.
You'll fully understand someone's actual psyche by watching their activity on the internet, whether they're on the internet lying, however it is that they present themselves. That is a part of their psyche, and I think it's a huge portion of their psyche because now you can be all of this without judgment, all of this without actual opinion, all of this without any sort of actual repercussion, other than, now they got jobs looking at your social media and all of that shit, but that's another conversation.
Yes. So, Lady Muse says she's blocking her family. I feel you.
I had my family blocked for years.
Did you? Yeah.
Because I'm the one who left, and with that action came a lot of early self-discovery and introspection and ideas that were contrary to how I was raised, So I got a lot of talk-ins and all of that shit. I was like, I'm gonna block y'all. Every single one.
Yeah, you don't want to put up with it. And so it all depends on who you are as an individual. It all depends on what's going on in your life and what you're using. As far as when we're talking about social media.
Yeah.
Because I don't see social media as a bad thing. I think what's bad is like with anything done in overabundance. Can be bad.
Too much of anything is bad for you.
Yes, and so I think if you
except for karate.
Well, yeah, of course, right. I think or sex.
Yeah, well,
but I think if you're we're on it tonight. I think if you're finding yourself as being thin-skinned when it comes to judgment, before we cap off talking about social media, I think in my personal opinion, the way I handle it is, I'm quick to say fuck you to people. I had to build that. I thank God for acting, honestly, because it gave me the form to test myself and to test things. Because before I got into acting, I was very mild and I was very quiet, and the word "fuck you" has its power, and I think
yes, it does.
I think once you learn that, it makes you so much more powerful in being able to do the things that you want to do. Hey, what's going on, Brand? How you doing? Thank you. Appreciate you for coming in. So hopefully you guys can work towards the mountain of fuck you, because it will help you. It will really help you.
It will definitely help you navigate this world.
Yeah, and to be able to say it with such not so much vitriol, but just confidence.
Just impunity.
Impunity, absolutely. Yeah, indignant. Yeah, being indignant about it. You can learn to move on from certain things.
You can stop saying that you don't care what people think and actually mean
Yes.
that you do not care what people think.
Yes, it is a practice.
Mm-hmm.
It is a practice.
It's a mindset.
It is a mindset. And listen, for me, when people judge me, the only people that really, really matter are those that give me.
Correct.
That's the way I work. I mean,
and even then, for me.
Well, yeah, and even then, yeah, because it's like obviously, if you're doing what you gotta do for money, there's a certain level of.
They say everybody has a
integrity.
price. I don't have one.
Right there, you go. And so that's the thing that I'm saying in that. Yes, indeed, that's a great sentence. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. We look at saying to ourselves, okay, judge. That's what Scripture says is, judge not, right? That's what people say. Judge not, lest you be judged. That's what Scripture teaches.
And what about let he who is without sin cast
the first stone? Now, see, now we're getting to the nitty gritty, going almost into the second hour.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah.
8:45. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes.
It's one of those things of people alluding to, God. We talked about it on the night when we talked about
I was about to say y'all see this motherfucker smoking crack. Well, y'all doing heroin?
Yeah, but heroin is a little bit more expensive.
Doing what you're doing is doing what you're doing.
Right. So that's another level of judgment. People judge out of condemning other people. See, it's different when you say an opinion, right? We talked about content. We use content as an example where we're saying, okay, yo, here it is. How do you like this sweater? Okay. Right. If you ask, you're gonna get the opinion, right? And someone can say what they want to say and say what they need to say. I'm a little bit different. I'm like, all right, are you asking my opinion? Yes. Are you asking what can make it better, opinion-wise? No. I just want to know what you think about it. Oh, okay.
Good
it's
quality
great,
sweater.
or it's shit, it's whatever, and that's it. But if you're asking, no, I really need your help. Okay, now we can really get to the nitty-gritty. Let me help you. What do you?
Pockets too small.
There you go.
Drawstrings too short.
There you go. And that's how, to me, because I'm a firm believer of helping. Just like you're a teacher. We're teachers. We love to teach. I could look at a guy and say he got a strong reverse punch, but I could also see the flaws in it and say, man, you keep punching like that, in about 5 years,
hurt yourself.
Yeah, you might have arthritis, or it's gonna break. That's constructive criticism.
Correct.
Not judgment, right?
It's still a form of judgment, but
right. But it's
not judgment that comes with a negative connotation.
Okay. So,
now, how the person takes it,
right?
That's a whole nother.
Well, listen, for us, guys like us, man, and anybody out there who is a person of the community, or a person where people hold your statements and your thoughts in high standing, you are going to be judged for being critical.
Correct.
Now,
or you're going to be judged for being honest.
Yeah.
Or opinionated in general.
Yes, because every word that you say, people sometimes hold in high regard. And I can tell you personally, for me, it's been the detriment. Because to me, there is always a hurtful point where people look at you as, I call it the monster. And the monster is something that terrifies people because it is so truthful and honest in this moments that it causes pain to people.
Correct.
And so when you're an honest person and you know, like we talked about the different types of judges, like a person who is a judge that sits there and they're fair and hopefully they should be impartial. And judges, whenever they at the end of any court case, they say why they do what they do in sentencing, and they give their opinion. They don't give their opinion at any time until the very end.
Correct. And they take in all of the facts, all of the evidence, and it's up to them to discern and figure out what is the best possible outcome and repercussions for whatever it is that they're officiating over.
Yeah. Lady, I had to explain I get paid to post, and y'all post for free to my Italian family because they just don't understand. Yeah, it's hard to make people understand that have their opinion and don't understand business.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's important to have a group of people around you that can relate with you, friends or families. I think a lot of times we're looking to impress our families because they're who we know first, you know. And then you want them to say, look, I've grown and I've become this, and I want to share this with you. And they're looking at you, nigga, you same person. How you change your diapers and
Right.
used to snot nose and this and that. Is it cool to ever judge?
Yeah, all the time.
Good. So
Does it have to be out loud? Depends on the scenario.
okay, so now explain why you feel it is good to judge.
I don't feel, I think.
Okay, good.
Number one, if I'm in LA
Mm-hmm.
and I notice everybody's wearing red
Mm-hmm.
around the hotel that I'm staying at, I'm not going to wear blue.
What's
Why
wrong
am I
with
not
you?
going to wear blue? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want the blue to turn to purple, nigga. That's why.
I'll tell you a funny story.
You know
When
what
I
I'm
moved to LA, I had no clue. No one told me. I didn't learn about colors until the movie Colors.
That's unfortunate.
And so I
Yeah.
you know, red was my favorite color for a long time, man.
Yeah.
And
But it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. That's a form of discernment, which is still judging.
okay, please clarify that for the audience because this is where it's to me the epicenter and the most important aspect of what we are talking about tonight, so that they can have clarity and it can be elevated.
Wherein judgment comes in many different forms. It's not that you are being attacked. It's not that you're being looked down upon. It's not that everyone has to like you. That's not the world's job. The world can't make you happy. The world can't give you confidence. It's all within.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one. Two, we go back to spelling. We got to understand these words. We got to understand the reality surrounded by the definitions of these words. When you don't realize that there's more than one definition of a word and you hear it and you're only working with one definition, that means you're cutting out who knows how many different parts of the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
That what we looked at, Judge has about 10 or 15
Yeah.
different fucking definitions.
Yeah.
And you only know one, and that's the one that hurts you. Who has the problem?
Yeah.
You know, so when we talk about discernment is, does this milk smell funny to you? Is it sour? Is that
Right.
is that chunky?
Yeah.
Well, let me still put it in, you know, you
Right.
still gonna pour it in your cereal, or you gonna pour that shit out.
Yes.
Plain and
Yes.
simple. That's discernment.
Yeah.
You know,
think,
making a good judgment call.
yeah, and I think, like I said, this to me is one of our most important shows. If people go and they look back, they'll see how all the other shows
Yeah.
accumulate to this, because this can help you prevent a lot from what you're saying. A lot of what a lot of people go through consistently in bad relationships,
Yeah.
in trauma, in family drama, and making bad business decisions, making bad new friends, and being used. So all of our shows, this is the 21st show, the 20 shows, even the ones where we're talking about pop culture and we're looking at these people making these crazy decisions and actions in their lives.
There's a great deal of judgment and discernment that comes along with assessing those shows.
Yeah, and just by seeing that, you start to understand. Well, okay, now I'm a little bit stronger in my thought process, because remember, only the wisest in the Bible, when we had the judges, it was only the wisest. And how funny it was that Samson was in Judges; he was a judge, and he was used as an example to make the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because he wasn't good in his discernment. Because he allowed his personal feelings to get in the way of what his job was supposed to be. So now that we understand discernment of judgment, we say we discerning. We're looking at, okay, I don't want to hang out with this guy because the behavior of what he does, or I don't want to hang out with her, or she's not good for me. You see, that's discernment. You're not looking at saying, oh, this person is a horrible person, because people change. Yeah. That's one thing that I've learned. I don't
do and they don't.
right. And some people, yeah, they're not, and we can make that judgment call to say they're not going to change. Shock the hell out of us if they do. Shock the hell out of us if somebody changes. And most of the time the word and the deed have to go hand in hand for you to see the adjustment. Lady Muse say they weren't happy about my Halloween costume, but rolling with the punches and not explaining anymore. They know what's up. Let me explain something to you, Lay, and we'll you and I, we'll have our session later this week. It all changes when you become successful.
Yeah.
This is something that I've learned. I've
They hit you with that nigga. Oh, Antoine Fisher. I always knew, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
That line gets you, huh? That line, yeah,
man. That shit hit close to home, you know.
I bet.
But that is the reality of where he's going, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're gonna hit you with that every time.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we Lambos now, nigga. I always knew you wearing that costume.
Yeah.
I said you look good in that costume. I always knew it.
Yeah.
That's that bullshit, man. But that's people.
Yeah.
That don't even have to do with family. That's people in general.
Yeah.
And to that, since we're talking about family and we all know how personal can get, maybe you all want to get personal.
Yes.
You think they want to get personal? So personal that perhaps you want to reach out to us outside of the show. Connect with us on a more private level. How private can private get? Well, you'll have to find out for yourself by contacting us on Instagram at CMCT_show. You can also find us on Facebook at CMCT Show. We're also live on YouTube at the same time, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at CMCT_show. We also have a Twitter where you can tweet, or whatever us at CMCT_show. And if you wanted to email us, to send us sweaters, send us hats, and other things, many things, you can find us on Gmail at cmctshow@gmail.com. Yes, I made that strange, but let's keep going. You can also find us on TikTok, kinda, at CMCT_show. And if you wanted to help us keep some of these lights on.
Yeah, and the heat now.
And the heat at this point, because listen, nigga, it's about 30 degrees outside right now. And we running gas. It ain't electric heat up in this motherfucker. Gas is expensive. It's as expensive as it is in California right now, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to help us out with that, you can go to linktree.com or Google Linktree and type in next to Linktree, CMCT_show. You can find our Linktree where we have a myriad of options where you can tip us for the show. You can donate. You can also request personal 2-minute videos, which are about $20. And I'm going off the top of the head right now because we just put those up there. But you can also request a personal venting session for $59 at the discounted rate right now for the holidays. It goes back to about $100 an hour after December 31st. And then also, what the hell was the third thing? Oh, interviews, $75 20-minute interviews. That'll be pre-recorded, so you have time we can tweak it and get it perfect exactly how you want it before we post it and share it to the channel. And that's at CMCT_show on linktree.com. This man,
Instagram.
He has an Instagram, believe it or not. And his Instagram is at Darkon2000. That's DARKAN 2000. He also has a Twitter at DarkonENT. That is DARKANENT. And I have an Instagram myself. Some of you watching me on Instagram Live right now might know that. And that is at the_dosage, DOSAGE on Instagram. I also have a music page on Instagram, and that is at the_dosage_MK. A, I have a project that'll be released on the 21st of this month, I believe that is. And it is a bunch of old features and pause due to poor connection. That is unfortunate. A bunch of old features and things, just songs that I never really put out, leading up to my next actual project, which will be dropping on December 24th. More details to come on that. So please go ahead and look out for that. Now, we're at the hour mark, so please feel free to join in with any, to join the live with any, perspective or opinions or positions on tonight's topic, which is judging. Let us know what you think or how you feel about the topic or anything that we discuss from here moving forward.
Yeah. Thank you for always doing that, brother, as well.
Yes, sir.
That's major.
Lastly, really quick, if you have any brands, online businesses, you got merchandise, any of those sort of things, definitely share it in the comments as the show, throughout the show. This is a free place to advertise yourself, and you never know who might see you in the comments.
Yes, we're very big on that. So my apologies, guys. I'm still dealing with this 1 hour.
Yeah, that 1 hour thing is still kicking us in the ass a little bit.
Yeah. And we're still pushing forward. Show 21, we're still making it happen. We're still pushing forward no matter what. And you guys, we'll give you a second to come back on in for everyone who got disconnected on my end. But
yes, sir.
Now we're going to show you how today's environment, the world, how it sees judgment. And thanks for coming back in, Larry Banks, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Sorry about that. The Psychology Today put out an ad over a year ago.
Yeah.
About judgment. And we thought it was a wild argument. Article, because it was like, no.
It's imperative that we share this perspective as we go on talking about the importance of judgment.
Yes, and being able to judge
in a human's life.
Absolutely.
Especially in today's world.
Because we simplified our idea of what judgment is, which is critical thinking and discernment. So for that being said, this is the total antithesis of what we're talking about, which is dangerous.
Correct.
Okay.
So the headline of the article is, "Why do we judge other people?" The sub-headline is, "Hating others is at odds with loving ourselves. What compels us to do it?"
Okay, now, before we even move forward, you have to understand the connotation of what she's saying.
How she prefaced the article.
Yes, she's equating judging with hating. And that was the first eyebrow raise for us. We were like, what?
Mm-hmm.
What?
In none of the definitions that we read earlier in the show, did you hear anything about hate, disparagement, anything of the likes? These people are out of control.
I know, man. I'm just like, what's going on?
Y'all got to know what we doing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, baby. No calls, no text messages, no FaceTimes, no phone sex, none of that. All right? Be tamed. But yeah, and none of the definitions earlier, was there anything that had to do with anything negative?
Nah.
To do with critical thinking.
Yes.
So let's see. We'll read off her key points, which she says that people judge others to avoid reckoning with potential feelings of inferiority and shame. Since judging others can never give a person what they really need, they feel like they have to keep doing it.
What?
One can choose not to perpetuate the cycle of judgment. So I believe that'll be her three paragraph headings. It seems. Let me zoom out of this so I can kind of speed read this a bit. Judging other people has nothing to do with the people who you are judging. For many people with disordered eating, making judgments about other people's food choices and bodies is a part of the picture. This is often out of line with the individual's real values, which are generally more about inclusivity, diversity, compassion, and relatedness, ideas that are fundamentally at odds with judgmentalism. So why does this happen? Many people who have not been privileged enough to receive unconditional love have an unconscious idea that there is only so much to go around. Let's stop there really quick. Unconditional love. Is there any such thing?
No.
Has there ever been any such thing?
No.
Is there anyone in the comments who unconditionally loves someone?
No. Even God.
Even your parents
even
do
God,
not unconditionally
Even
love.
God doesn't love unconditionally. He doesn't. And that's contrary to what people are taught about the Bible. He does not love unconditionally.
Well, all you got to do is read the Bible to find out that he doesn't. All them plagues and floods and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Hitting niggas up for all kind of shit.
He's like, oh, y'all ain't gonna. He's the ultimate G. Y'all not gonna do what I'm telling. Okay.
Yeah, I offered you guidance.
Right.
You still not? All right,
This
cool.
what you about to get right here.
Cool. Let's talk about it. But really, he's not with talking. It's just action. So,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, there's no such thing as unconditional love. So let's start there. And I also, I always like to, not really, I don't play the devil's advocate, but I do believe in balance.
Right.
What she is talking about, because this is a Psychology Today article.
Okay.
The psychological side, which I believe approaches the negative connotation that comes with the term judge.
Okay.
Or judgment. That's what most people are working with.
Yes.
They don't care about all the other definitions.
Yes.
That actually
make sense.
That make the word out to be a utility or an apparatus in everyday life.
For growth, yes.
Okay. So I will give that. So we're not just butchering her butchering her article.
Right.
So that just to get our point across.
Mm-hmm.
In any event, I'll reread that and continue. Many people who have not been privileged enough to receive unconditional love have an unconscious idea that there is only so much to go around, so much attractiveness, so much wealth, so much youth, so much beauty, so much achievement, and ultimately so much love. They have a belief in finiteness. When someone else has something, it seems like something that they are deprived of. The quantities are limited, and there's no such thing as baking a bigger pie. Think about that.
Yeah.
Let's continue. Oh, yeah, because she has it broken up into 3 sections, so we'll work with that. The pool is to see people in a rank order, hierarchical fashion. When two people encounter one another, one is better and one is worse. You might use any metric, wealth, status, social ability, but the eating disorder will compel you to go for size, weight, and choices around food and exercise. If you aren't the better one, watch out. You might be worse. What the fuck is that? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah.
So let's work with that really quick.
Yeah. So basically, in her thought about in regards to the article, to base the fact that someone is judging around love, unconditional love, is to me totally ludicrous.
Absolutely.
Because you got to remember for the first hour where we sized up what we understand judgment is for: discernment and
discernment, critical thinking.
Thank you. That was it. Yeah.
Common sense. Almost.
Common sense. Yeah. I'll add to that prevention as well, because
absolutely.
If you're good at judging, the reason why damn Pinocchio was given Jiminy Cricket was because Pinocchio didn't have a conscience.
Yeah.
So Jiminy Cricket was his conscience, and your conscience is something that helps you to make
to tell you when you're tripping.
Absolutely.
Maybe you're going a little too far.
Absolutely.
Maybe you're being unfair.
Yeah.
Maybe you're being maniacal.
Yeah. She's pretty much in this paragraph, from what I'm seeing, and she's basing it all on things.
Well, it's. I believe this is rounded around or rounded about for the mindset of someone dealing with judgment.
Yeah.
How is it that they've come to that conclusion in their own mind that they have to keep judging others before assessing themselves? I believe that's what she's going for.
Right, but at the same sense, she's basing it on, because when it starts to talk about beauty, achievement, wealth, those are things. Even love is a thing that's given to someone or received by someone.
And her example is someone with anorexia.
Yes.
I believe is what she's going at. So she's saying that they're looking at so many different things. They're comparing themselves to so many different things that instead of assessing that within they're using the outside world to make themselves feel better about what it is that they're doing without any actual interaction, just thought and feeling, right? I disagree with her.
Yeah, totally.
Moreover, I disagree with her. I get the mindset, but I believe that you can assess that mindset without a particular like disorder. It's not really associated with disorder. It's an actual human. It's a natural human behavior.
Yeah.
You know, to avoid accountability for this, especially in today's world.
That's pretty much what it's about.
Yeah. But let's keep reading. You feel like you have to keep doing it. And so judgmentalism is about safety. If you are the better person in a given scenario, you don't have to worry that you might be the worse one. You don't have to reckon with potential feelings of inferiority, shame, and generally not being good enough. Now, I want to speak to that a little bit.
Please do.
A lot of us have the tendency, especially socially, right? Everyone has a bit of a tweak, so to speak, or a twitch. Some people laugh when they're uncomfortable. Some people sweat when they're uncomfortable. Some people start talking too much when they're uncomfortable. There are a myriad of different things. There are people like me who, if I'm uncomfortable, I'm willing to make the entire room uncomfortable, make them feel like how I feel so that I can be comfortable.
Right. It's kind of a mirror reflection. This was going on.
Correct. Yeah. To take control of the situation. That's me. That's what a lot of entertainers do. That's where I learned that from.
Absolutely, you're right.
A lot, especially comedians. They're willing to burn the building down to keep control of the situation itself. So I think that's kind of what she's speaking to there in a sense. And I don't know if that has anything to do with judgmentalism.
Well, basically what she's saying is when she says, and so judgmentalism is about safety. Yeah. You feeling safe, kind of what you're saying about it. So if you are the better person in a given scenario, you don't have to worry about you might be the worst one. You don't have to reckon with potential feelings of inferiority, shame, and generally not being good enough. It doesn't.
But is judgmentalism only associated with inferiority?
To her, it is, but to me, it's not. To me, judgmentalism. When you're looking at so if we're saying judgmentalism, if I'm judging someone, am I judging them to make myself feel better? Because that's kind of what she's asking. So if you are the better person. So she's like, if you feel like you're the better person, you'll keep judging in order to make yourself feel better. That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm sure that there are people who are doing that, but I believe if that's an argument that she's making, then she perhaps should cite some statistics.
Yeah.
How many people are
actually doing that? Yeah. They go in a room and they judge everybody else to make themselves feel better. That doesn't make any sense. Like there are people who would do that. Perhaps I've met actual people who are wealthy, because they
have a million reasons why they're better than everybody.
Yeah, and right? But deep down inside, they're missing that one attribute, and
that's the one that they fixate on, or that's the one that they mask the most.
Yes,
and they try to buy their way out of that.
Yes,
but that's
yes.
that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
In any event, because judgmentalism destroys relationships, if you are better than someone, you are apart from them. You are above them, not beside them, and so nobody is beside you. And of course, because real strength is not about shitting on other people, it's about knowing who you are, what you value, and how you want to live that truth. It's about knowing that you can afford to be generous because you are enough and there's enough to go around. Extending you some kindness does not diminish me. Instead, it makes the world that I exist in a better place to be. We bake a bigger pie, we all win. Now, I think what I'm getting from that is that she's associating humility and judgmentalism as opposites. And I don't think that's true.
No, it's not.
Humility has nothing to do with judging people.
No, not at all.
Because you probably also know how it feels to be judgmental. There is that quick sense of relief, but then on some level an awareness that you are not in alignment with who you really want to be. You feel kind of dirty, emotionally safe for the moment, but aware on some level that you are engaging in a cheap, dirty trick to bolster your sense of worth, but you might also not feel like you have any options, as if you can never own anything that wasn't on some level stolen from someone else. So what I think about that, especially in the social media age, we with photoshopping and filtering and all of these different things that edit our appearance and how we appear to the world. She's just talking about insecurity. I don't know that insecurities and judgment are exclusive to one another.
Well, because she's totally off about what judging is, her whole conversation is falling
She may have
apart.
chose if it wasn't about judgment, she would be pretty spot on about the human psyche.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways.
Of course.
You know, if what we're talking about is insecurity.
Mm-hmm. Looking to feel secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like she said, you want to feel safe.
Putting somebody down to make yourself feel better.
But that has nothing to do with judgment.
At all.
That is you figuring out and working through or running from or embracing your own insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, rather than looking for a way to heal yourself with from that.
Yeah.
What was that last one? Bigger pie, someone else. And you have to keep doing it because it isn't what you really need. She's a terrible writer. You don't begin with and because constantly.
On
Jesus.
the paragraph, yeah.
And you have to keep doing it because it isn't what you really need. It isn't true and deep respect for yourself. It can never be enough. You'll have to judge another person and another to keep the charade going. You'll have to find drug addicts, criminals, terrible mothers to keep your head above water with floaties instead of learning how to swim. Again, she's about to make me stop reading her article. I got to be honest because I don't like bullshit. Insecurities have nothing to do with judging other people.
Oh, man.
It sounds like she's writing from like maybe a junior high schooler's perspective and saying that, you know, all the other girls, they're wearing skirts now. I want to wear a skirt. Some type of shit like that. It sounds like the mindset that she's coming from. And I don't think that is doing justice, one, to judgmentalism. And then two, I don't think that it does justice to the actual plot or focus that I think she's really getting at, which is self-esteem and insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with judgment.
At all.
Now, do we not want to be judged? Can it have an effect on our insecurities and so forth? Yeah, but if we're talking about breaking down these things and healing them, I think judgment is out of the picture.
Yeah, totally out of the picture.
Because it's in here.
Right. It's your ideals you have to deal with. That has nothing to do with judgment.
Or this is one really long dissertation on one facet of behaviors associated with insecurities. You could say that judgment is a symptom of insecurity, sure,
yeah, but it's
or behavior.
It's going to be a minute one because
in comparison to everything else that comes along with
absolutely.
it.
Yeah, it's minute. It's nothing that's. I mean, I don't know people that. If anything, a person has a narcissism disorder where they'll walk into a room and say, "I'm the best," and everything's about me.
That's the smartest person in the room,
absolutely,
right?
Yeah. But you know, that's not me. That makes me feel better. That doesn't resonate.
Well, if we use her logic, we could easily go with this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna wear makeup
Mm-hmm.
to make myself feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not wearing makeup, that means that you don't feel as good as I feel right now, right? And that's me casting judgment on you to make me feel better about judging myself or how you might think about me. And it's this, again, that's why it sounds like some high school shit, you know, or middle school shit that she's getting at. So I believe I'm gonna slowly pull away from her article. Well, I guess there's two more paragraphs. I'll read it. I'm not enjoying it, but I'll read it for the show.
Well, the picture speaks volumes. When you look, I mean, you see now, you can see that.
Yeah. Any event. That wasn't learning how to swim. Where was that? Plus, now you are living in a world rife with judgmentalism because you have invited that force into your life. You may even have difficulty keeping your judgments to other people and end up judging yourself just as harshly as you do others. Ironic for an endeavor that was originally meant to salvage your self-esteem. She just forced irony. She said that you were the other person this entire time.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was saying. She was all over the place. That's why it's important to read, guys.
Yeah,
It's important to read.
This is unfortunate. This is a really ridiculous stance. Not very well written at all. And then here we go. Another paragraph started with the
but.
You know what I'm saying? But, because, and so forth. Anyway, extending kindness. But maybe you can recognize that you do have choices. Whether you are judged or being judged, you can choose not to perpetuate the cycle. You can let go of needing to be better than other people and start holding on to being enough for yourself. You can see yourself as worthy of love and other people as worthy of love, and rest in the knowledge that there is enough love to go around. You can make space for your own vulnerabilities and others' vulnerabilities, maybe including judgmentalism. When we practice kindness for others, we also find more space to extend it to ourselves. She is insinuating that it is unkind to judge others. Reggie, my brother. Tammy, my brother, Tammy, my auntie. Hello. And then Aaron, my boy. We got Natural Kiana says she sounds crazy, and Frida Lee says hi from Mexico. And Eric came in the house as well.
Yeah, just because somebody writes something don't mean they got it all right.
I mean, good for her. She probably got paid for this article.
I'm pretty sure she did. Psychology Today is a very respected and repudiated magazine. It's one of those things where people.
I think that this article would have been better fit if she had focused it on, instead of humility and judgmentalism, and focused on insecurities, because this has nothing to do with the topic of judgmentalism.
Can we look and see what the definition of judgmentalism is?
Yeah, I wanted to do that earlier.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. Then
we can see where she probably went with that, because I think she's all over the place.
So let's see. Judgmentalism on Wiktionary. Is there another? So we can have a couple here.
Took a second for that to come up.
Yeah, did the bitch make up the word?
It's something that's current. It's a current word.
True.
It's not something that you would see in old. See? It's crazy, isn't it?
Alternative form. So it's kind of a
yes, Lady Music was a white woman.
Of course it was. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a white woman. White. Says uncountable. Now she's sending us on a wild goose chase. I'll read uncountable, because that was apparently the synonym. A noun that cannot be used freely with numbers or the indefinite article, and which therefore usually takes no plural form. For example, this has nothing to do with judgmentalism.
You made that up. She
might have made this up, man.
You made that up.
Judgmentalism, the definition from yourdictionary.com, judgmental behavior or attitude. Is there even an etymology for this word at this point? You know what I'm saying?
You made that up.
And freaking Merriam-Webster went straight to judgmental. I don't even see judgmentalism.
That's because
any other foreword on here.
Merriam-Webster's like, you made that up.
Yeah, she made that shit up. Well, I'm sorry, guys, for that circle jerk that I just pulled y'all into, because that's really what this comes down to. Etymology, judgmental plus ism. They don't even have it as one specific link. This is crazy. All right, well.
And that's why her article didn't make
trash.
Much sense. Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yes.
The article was trash. I'm sorry to put you guys through that.
But the reason why we did, because there was a reason why we did, was to help you understand
what the new world, how the new world is processing judgmental behavior, or the term judgment.
Yes,
the reality of judgment.
Deep.
It wasn't very deep at all, actually.
Deep for us, because the thing was...
The reality of this is what the world is looking at. This is the propaganda that's being pushed for this term. And it's very unfortunate, because again, so now that leads into what I was talking about earlier, which is participation trophies. No Child Left Behind. I don't know if that was only a California thing or not, but
no, it was all over.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You get something just because you showed up. What is it? Even on the SAT, points for writing your name.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's insanity. What does that have to do with actual forward motion
Right.
and mobility.
Which is how you grow
in this world.
Which is how you grow. You grow. Listen, you have to, guys. Those of you who are listening. Well, okay. I give you an example personally of what I've gone through. There's accountability has different levels to it.
Yeah.
There's different levels to accountability. I was always a clumsy kid. And people are quick to be like, well, no, look, no.
I was
Face the fact,
clumsy.
I was clumsy.
Like I didn't catch a football.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you realize these things, these truths,
Now you can do something about it.
And it takes someone with discernment. It takes someone who's willing to judge you and to tell you the truth is how you'll be able to embark on it. But you got to accept it for yourself. You have to, because some people have the gift of discernment.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't. I know a lot of friends who got into stupid situations, awkward, crazy, random situations because they had poor judgment.
And it could have been prevented just with a second thought.
Excuse me. The story of Pinocchio. They got so many Pinocchio movies out, and I'm not talking about the Walt Disney one because that's trash.
It's a Pinocchio and an original Aesop film.
Right, absolutely. But they got some new ones that are out that shows like what Pinocchio really went through. It's almost a horror story.
Yeah,
the stuff that he went through. The stuff that he went through because he had poor judgment.
Poor judgment. He didn't want to assimilate.
Yes.
And that's a choice.
It's a choice. And that's what you have to understand. If you're going through things in life, a lot of times, hey, Danny, welcome to the show. A lot of times, the things you're going through in life are based on the choices that you make. And if you allow certain people in because you don't want to be a person of judgment, right? You say, well, I ain't going to judge nobody because I don't want nobody judging me, right? You hear that all the time. I don't judge nobody because I don't want nobody judging me. We all judge.
Yep.
We all judge.
You can't say that. We judge, we rank. There's so many different actions associated with judgment that there is no person on this earth. I challenge anyone. Challenge them to show me a time where you don't judge.
Yeah.
You go to McDonald's, do you get what you don't like or do you get what you like?
Yeah.
That's a judgment call.
Yeah, absolutely. And the problem becomes the negative connotation associated with the word, which is what Antonio said at the top of the show. So that's how we're helping you guys to bring it full circle. We're helping you to understand that judgment is not a bad thing. This article is saying that judgment is a bad thing. And as Lady Muse just said, that article was deep as a puddle, that article was. And Danny Roy said, truth we judge from the site. All judgments are negative. Do you believe that? All judgments are negative?
All judgments are not negative.
Okay. Danny, why do you feel that? Oh, he said aren't. All judgments.
Aren't. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, come on, man. I thought that, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I don't want to have this argument.
We love you, Danny. Thank you for fixing that. Because we were just like, are, there aren't. Right. And so, with that being said, how do we, because we're at the half hour mark, how do we help the audience get to a point of dissolving that negative connotation of word judgment?
Well, I think it's simple. Let's number one, let's go back to the being definitive. Again, we live in a world where we just get to decide our own definitions of these words, and people stand on them. I've seen videos of unruly people going to court and deciding to tell the judge the legal term or the legal definitions of these words that they've never looked up. They just figured that that's what it meant. I forget exactly who it was, but he was asking the lady if she or she was telling the judge that the guy she was going up against was committing perjury.
Yo, I saw that.
Yeah. He was getting upset. He's like, "Do you understand what perjury is? Do you know the actual definition of the word?" And she said whatever she said, and he had to correct her a million times, and she started correcting him, and they had damn near a 30-minute argument. And he was being very lenient. He could have put her ass up for contempt of court and so many other things, and he didn't. But that's the issue with today. I feel Nothing to do with thinking.
Mm-hmm.
I feel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel that this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right? We're not psychic.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not. You don't get to go to court and be clairvoyant. You don't get to be not dealing but interacting with people who you have personal, financial, or social relationships with, and everything is going to be predicated upon how you feel rather than how you think.
Yeah. Yes.
How is it that we're operating in this world? Is it 100% feeling? Are we using our mind ever?
Well, the society is setting it up for people to be that way, and that's the danger.
Because so what it all breaks down to is where I'm going with this is delusion. People are very delusional.
Yeah, and Lay said something that I want to touch on. She said, or people use bigger words slowly to sound smart.
Yes, they do.
Part of what we talk about here on the show is ways of helping people, and I just believe this is something that was taught to me a long time ago, and I never forget it. If anytime you do read, because Lay also said people do not read at all. They hear it and
especially
run
not
with
today.
it. Yeah. If
10-second YouTube video. I'm an expert. I got it.
If you read, and thank God there are still, other than this article, there are still people who write.
They write with some actual fucking ethics.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anytime you see a word that you've never seen before, you don't know the definition of, and you're confused about it.
You have an entire computer in your hand. Nigga, go look it up.
Look it up. Just that's the challenge. Because I was challenged not only to look it up, but to spell it.
I was about to say, think about the spelling bee.
Yes.
Can you use the word in a sentence?
Yes.
That's one of the most important questions of the spelling bee, because now you get to see what the actual usage is. What is the context? Is there more than one form of context for this term? Is there more than one definition for this term? Please and thank you. Are people connected with that?
Yeah.
They're barely connected with the fact that they have an entire supercomputer in their hands.
Yeah. So that's the challenge. Why is that important? Because a judge is a wise person.
Correct.
Not only King Solomon was considered to be the wisest king that ever lived, primarily because he had understanding.
Correct.
And I think a lot of times people not only are quick to judge, but they don't have understanding. If you had understanding, it would make you less quick to judge, which basically means that you would have to be smart and astute in a situation to make sure you're seeing everything in its truth. And I had to learn to shut up and just listen. I really had to learn to do that.
Well, they say you got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Brother.
2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 mouth.
Part of being wise, a lot of times, the wisest person is the person that's not only have seen things before for themselves, but they've seen it in others.
Yeah.
And so the answer will come quicker than you should speak without you hearing everything. And it's still a practice that I have to apply.
Because you have to be observant.
You have to be. And but that's where the wisdom comes in. The wisdom comes into that, and then the understanding is looking and saying, so with understanding, you're saying to yourself, okay, this person here, I know me. This is where I always start. I say, I know me. Do I need to be around this person because of what they're involved in? I'm more than likely, being an extremist, knowing this about myself, may get caught up in that action.
Yeah.
It takes a stronger person to be like, I'm beyond that. I can be around this person and not be pulled into that action.
Correct.
And that takes time. That's more of knowing self. You got to start looking at judgment as, like we said, discerning, being critical in your thinking, critical in understanding the situation. That's what we look at as judgment. When the Bible, for those who say judge lest you be judged, what basically God was saying was, on a spiritual aspect, don't judge anyone, because we ain't shit. And so when you look at judging somebody on a spiritual, but even the Bible itself says, be a good steward. Don't cast your pearls before the swine. And that's what that is, being a great judge of character, a judge of circumstance, a judge of situation.
You don't give $1 million to a crackhead. You know what I'm saying?
Don't be at a club when you know you already seen a group fight and
That's where they shoot at.
get
Why
up out of
am I
there.
going there?
Get up out of there.
You know,
How do you handle misjudgment? Danny said. Good question, Danny.
misjudgment by others or from self.
Yes. Can you elaborate on that? Because that question can be dual layered, and it's a very good question. How do you handle misjudgment? So let's go ahead and start on it before he even comes in, so that way we can make sure we get it in.
Misjudgment.
Misjudgment. Let's say misjudgment on you misjudge. How do you handle that? Have you ever misjudged something or someone?
Plenty of times.
Right. So how do you handle that? As a
Self
person?
accountability.
Good.
You know, you have to remember these things, right? Remember the moments. Remember all of the different variables, and this kind of plays into introspection and being able to go back and look at things, and can you see them for what they actually were? Was there a time during the occurrence where maybe you were blinded, or maybe you were more emotional about it than you should have been? You know, you take the time to go back and you hold yourself accountable. You ask these questions to self. You know, it's just self-correction.
Do you go the extra mile and go back to that person and say, hey, my apologies, I misjudged you?
If they're worth having the conversation with, for sure. If not, counsel, right? You got to have somebody who you can call that is willing to give you the uncut, raw truth, right? Don't call the person who has no experience with whatever it is that you're dealing with. Have someone who you know is not even knowledgeable, but they have balance. They have good discernment.
Fair.
You know, they're willing to tell you when you were a shithead.
Yeah, and that's important. So that means there's a certain type of friendship you should have, a certain type of counsel. That's very important. I'm very big on holding myself accountable and like, hey man, was I wrong in this? Like, can you hear this situation and tell me if I went wrong, where I went wrong, and if this person is an asshole? Danny said from others.
From others.
Yeah. So from others, how do you handle misjudgment from others that misjudge you?
You have to show them who you are.
Okay.
And not in a forcul way.
Okay.
You go and be who you are.
Okay. But
if they miss out, they miss out.
Before you add on to that, I would add on what you had said. You have to know, are they worth it?
Yeah.
Are they worth it just like it is on the other
That's why I
end?
said not forceful.
Right.
You just go be who you are. If they missed out, they missed out.
Right.
That's 100% their problem. That has nothing to do with you. You know, whether that be professionally, socially, in a relationship, are you gonna sit around and hope that they get the picture?
Yeah, and it's a serious trial to feel like you're going to prove that person wrong.
Yeah.
Because they misjudged you.
That's a very unfortunate job.
Yeah, Danny said amen to that. Accountability and vulnerability, willingness to be wrong. Listen, let me explain something to you guys. I never have a problem with being wrong.
No.
There's a phrase that I was taught a long time ago by Old Man Al. I'll never forget it. He was in his 60s, late 60s, worked at the bodega. And he was one of those people that taught me about being wrong is not always wrong. He said, how do you know how to be right if you never know what it is to be wrong?
Right.
So he said, if you can learn to lessen the impact of that you're going to be wrong, because some people don't even like it when they found out that they're wrong, and they get mad at you for being mad at them, which to me, I'll get up and walk out the room. I can't handle that. You being mad at me for being upset at you, and I have the right to be upset at you. Like, what the hell? I can't. There's no reaching that person. But he was the one that taught me the phrase, I don't know everything, but what I know well. He was the one that taught me that. And I never forgot that, because there's a point where you have to understand that the way the world is set up, it's a mind fuck. It is a mind fuck. Like, we just read an article where the woman is saying that judging is wrong. She literally just pretty much saying judging is wrong.
That is unkind.
It's unkind. It is unkind. And so what's the point of having a jury of 12 or having a judge? Like, we know that there is, discrepancies in those things, but nothing's perfect.
Nothing is.
Nothing's perfect. And so I think, I'm pretty, I don't know if he's still with us or not, but I thank Old Man Al for teaching that to me, because it took a long time to accept that. But I had to do the work. And the work was, like I said, if I'm wrong, I take the extra
You have to
initiative.
stand up to that.
Yeah, hey, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. My apologies to you. The relationship may not be mendable, but at least I'm being man enough to stand up and say, I'm wrong. That other person may get glee,
whether or not they accept your apology is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. And some people have to be strong enough to know that you have to move on from that relationship with that fault, with making that mistake of being wrong.
And you just don't do it again.
Right.
You can help it.
Right. In the next relationship that's given to you. Because, listen, what I've learned is that relationships are given to us.
Yeah.
You have to understand that. And that's why when you're a better judge of character, or you're a better judge of moments and stuff like that, you'll make better decisions about the friendships and the relationships you make in life. We are all making mistakes as time goes by, but you don't start blessing yourself by looking at the things you're doing right.
Correct.
It's real easy. Like, throughout these 2 years, I looked at myself and I'm like, man, did I make the right decision on this or that? That's judgment. That's judgment. Because the thing is you say, okay, but then a lot of times at the end of the conversation, I go, but look what I've gained by, everything may look wrong, but on this end, everything looks right. Right? And so that's something that, to me, helps to help you avoid depression and serious, horrible situations you may go through spiritually, mentally, because now you're saying to yourself, okay, you know what? It's not about, one of the phrases that I can't stand is, look on the bright side, or every cloud has a silver lining.
Right.
Which is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? There is no bright side sometimes.
Sometimes it's just fucked up.
Yeah. And you have to accept that. And so that's what I'm learning about that. And judgment, and Eric can attest to this. One of my favorite phrases is, an ounce of prevention is worth its weight in cure.
I have that written on my board.
Yeah, because if you're able to prevent the dumb shit that you did prior by learning from those mistakes or seeing other people go through the fire, then you're already a step ahead. So
at least putting yourself in a position to see it ahead of time.
Absolutely. That's part of judgment. That's why King Solomon was so wise.
Maturity.
The maturity, the wisdom.
There's so much associated with judgment that is human inclination. You shouldn't be able to dismiss such an important facet of our reality and minimize it to whatever whatever old girl in the article's talking about. Man, we have at least 60 years plus to deal with on this planet, or to experience and embrace on this planet. The last thing you want to go without is judgment and discernment while you're here. I need to know. Like I need my realtor. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, or my rental company to know what the fuck they talking about when I'm looking for somewhere to live, man.
Yeah. I think the battle with a lot of it is the battle in the balance of emotion. Yeah. It's like, even in combat, when you say, okay, we're engaging in combat, you have to disassociate yourself from that emotion. Yeah. Because those emotions will make you be haphazard or half-assed in regards to your striking.
The guys who fall victim to simple feints and such. You know? Or worried about, you got one hand in your hand, you might have a hold of them, and you're worried about both hands. Worry about one. Relax. Calm down a little bit. That's and why I said that is because we have more control than we tell ourselves that we do. Yeah. We have more presence than we tell ourselves that we do.
Because you're fixated on specific things.
Or fears.
Absolutely.
Fear of the unknown.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And that also is part of why people prevent themselves from having the judgment. Because they feel like, oh, well, if I judge this person, now they're going to judge me. And
even though they still judge them anyway.
Yeah, of course. Right. You see
That's
what I'm
a
saying?
judgment in itself.
Yeah.
Do two people come together and just say, oh, I'm not gonna think anything about this person.
Yeah.
At all.
Right. That's bullshit.
Why are you interacting with that person to begin with? Judgments were already casted. You know.
Lady Muse said, "Judgment saves lives. Sometimes you just know not to do something. It's instinct." Very good. Yeah.
Correct.
Your instinct.
That's why I say it's 100% human inclination. Has to be. That's one of our biggest tools. In well, we don't live in the wild anymore, but you know, all animals they judge. They have discernment. You know. Most animals are not getting hit by fucking cars, dealing with us in this world where we're now coexisting at a different level.
Well, listen, even in court, when you see they pick the jury, they're judging the jury and the jury's judging them. You know?
Absolutely.
And that's why the whole interview
it's an apparatus. On both sides.
And they pick the ones where most people are more than likely judgmental about specific things. Are you a Democrat? Okay. You know, how do you feel about guns? You know,
like nigga, do you work at Chuck E. Cheese? Are you around children all day? What's your mental fortitude? Like, you know, all of those things.
I got kicked off of I've only been to jury duty to get called in. I've never been on a trial.
I was sick.
You were sick? Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was sick.
I got called in one time, and I made it to the point of being interviewed. You know, which is in itself. And this one guy was like, "Yeah, I've been on several juries. You know, actually, like he enjoyed it. Like, you know,
some people do.
They do, and yeah,
it's exciting.
And when they called me up, you know, it was a case involving children, and you know that's very touchy to me. Yeah. So the defense attorney came up. He's like, "How do you feel about children?" And I was like, well, you know, I go into my spiel.
I'll jump the stand and kill this nigga, yo.
He was like, he said, "We'd like to dismiss this juror, please."
So you damn near did say something like that.
I did. I was like,
I might fuck him up.
You know, yeah.
I don't know.
I said, you know, I said I got a personal issue with, you know, child molestation and this and that. And
conflict of interest.
You know, the little tears have started welling up. You know what I mean?
Where's he at right now?
We'd like to dismiss this juror, please. Yeah, okay.
Understood.
You know, court noted. You know, so
understood.
So it's one of those things. Would I be able to judge fairly? No.
They better have cold, hard hitting facts.
I mean, emotionally, am I able to disconnect it? No. As far as I've come.
So and that's the conflict of interest.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I still see newspaper articles, and I'm done. And I don't think that, you know, as where I'm at in life, as hard and long that I've been working to be able to balance, I don't think, you know, it could be, you know, which is why I don't have kids, because I know I'd hurt somebody that would hurt my kids. And so that's a judgment call that I've made for myself. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are not honest with that. And I think that's where it opens
a lot of things.
Yeah, but in respect to this is what opens up that Pandora's box to the other things in our other shows that we've talked about. So, guys, we've in these past couple of shows, we've gone over a lot of stuff. What's going on? I can't say the original name, but I was about to. I caught myself. But what's going on, man?
Funny.
It's an Obojuka student. You know, yeah. I hope you're doing well, man. How's your fashion line going? Hopefully, you're doing well with that. We'd love to see some of your fashion. But anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, you know, anybody else have anything else to say?
No input? No, nobody wanted to go live.
About judgment or anything like that? I know it's a touchy subject, and we covered a lot about it.
Yeah,
hopefully we are talking in a language that helps you to understand it. You just need to work on yourself.
It always comes back to self, man.
It does.
You know, the work within and introspection, you know, learning or taking the time to learn what are these things about myself that maybe or maybe have me somewhere that I don't want to be. You know, maybe they're preventing me from going somewhere that I want to go or experiencing things that I want to experience. I'm experiencing different types of people that I want to experience. Mm-hmm. You have to ask yourself those questions because the world is not going to ask you.
Actually, the world doesn't care. I mean, it cares to an extent, but then it doesn't. So it's like, all right, why would you spend time on something that somebody judged you on? That
No.
you maybe you attempted to do something and it was just I'm finding myself and I took a Janet Jackson style photo,
Exactly.
and now everybody mad at you and they kicked you out the church.
You don't get to end up in the rooms that you want to end up in. Just, based on lack of self-awareness, I suppose that would be. You have to, when they say read the room, which is another form of judgment, but you have to start reading these rooms, reading these scenarios, understanding these situations so that you can better poise yourself and position yourself to participate where you want to be.
Yeah, and that's part of the practice. Like I said, man, the challenge is, all right, let's start with something basic. Like you read an article, there's a big word, look up that word.
Yeah.
Because now you're holding yourself accountable to
just taking the time, small actions.
Yeah.
As they say, what is it, 30 minutes a day, study a new skill. 30 minutes a day, study a new subject. Read one definition a day to learn more and enhance your vocabulary. There are so many different things that you can do to, I won't even say better yourself, but enhance yourself on the journey to becoming your best self, whatever that best self is.
And in the case of judgment, when you have your first impulse, what is that impulse coming from? What is that impulse about? Is it protection of self? Because that's really what it should be more than anything, an acknowledgement of self. So a lot of times people overlook judgment. They go, oh, I'm not going to judge because I don't want anybody to judge me. But that thing
make sure it's not
person,
a traumatic response.
Yeah, but that thing in that person could be detrimental to you because you're not using your critical thinking. You're not using your discernment. You're not being judgmental, which you should be. You should be judging in that moment. You should be very wise and very astute in that moment of like, I don't need to be around that person. I don't need to be around that situation. Because even in alcoholism, they tell alcoholics, stay away from, or even in narcotics, Anonymous, they say stay away from people of that behavior because you have to look back at yourself and know that you're weak.
If you don't have the self-control, it's not worth even putting yourself in that position.
Some of y'all need to stay out them strip clubs, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Stay out the gambling joints.
Get Bow Wow up out of there.
Yeah, and listen, I don't listen. When I say I'm not judging somebody, it's primarily because those things are not my things. But have I been to a strip club? Yes. Have I gambled? Absolutely. You know what I mean? So if you like it, I love it. Do it and
do it well.
Do it
when
well.
They say be good or be good at it. You know what I'm saying?
Just don't get mad when your future children or people around you are hurt by your actions because that's what we say. Too much of anything is not great.
And don't feel judged when they decide that you are not who they want to deal with.
Yes, right. Which goes back to what Danny says. What do you do with somebody who getting that judgment from others?
Yeah.
There's a different level. If people are judging you because of envy, boom.
But if they're judging you based on your patterns and your habits that you, became a freaking poster child for, take it for what it's worth.
You check yourself. But you know what? And you have to be careful, too. That's why it's important to have great counsel. That's what we were talking about.
Great counsel.
Because sometimes you're getting judged by many people, but it doesn't mean that it's
may not be impactful to you.
Yeah,
or it may not hold weight.
Right, because they may all feel a specific thing that feels judgmental to them.
Yeah.
You see? So I've been told many times, you need to watch how you talk to people. Well, why? Why do I need to watch how I'm talking to people? Why? Like, what is it about what I'm saying? Oh, it's the content of how I'm saying and what I'm saying. It's that I'm speaking truth and you don't like truth. And I'm starting to realize that, oh, maybe I should pay attention to that. But that's not me. That's them.
One of the best things about being a truthful person in someone's life, and we're coming down to about 2 minutes, so I'm going to read this off after this, but, all my friends who are my actual friends, no, do not call me looking for the good butter you up. You didn't do that bad. Don't call me asking for none of it. They know not to call me unless they're looking for absolute truth because I'm going to tear your ass up every time.
Of course.
Absolute truth. And if they were in any shape or form wrong or they know they was on some bullshit, they don't even contact me.
Yeah.
Unless they're asking, you know what, if they've already admitted it to themselves, and they say, okay, what can I do to fix this? What
Yeah.
do you think? Then
Right.
then they might hit me up. But if they're not at that point yet, they already know not to call me.
Right.
Because I'm about to tear your ass up.
Right. And that's what I meant by that earlier, about being able to help people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? By being honest and being truthful in the moment of that's the judgment. It's like, this is where you screwed up. This is where you need to work to move to another level. Because to me, it's all about growth. In my life where I'm at now, I just want growth. I want growth in my own personal life. I want growth in the life and the relationships of the others that I'm dealing with. I don't want anything but that, because growth will open up the door of to me, enlightenment and joy.
And a lack of discernment will stunt your growth overall in every area of your life and all facets. So, now that we're down to about 5 minutes left in the show, please, everyone, be well. Number one, it ain't worth it not to judge. You have to. It's a part of the human condition. It's a part of the animal kingdom. Look at how every other life in this cycle that we're in, everyone and everything is judging in some way or another. So be definitive. Go read some of these definitions, please, and thank you. Do not leave yourself in the dark when you don't have to, especially if you got a phone in your hand or a local library and 2 legs that you can walk on. Mm-hmm. Agreed?
Absolutely.
With that being said, for the final hour, which is really just 5 minutes of the show, if you want to contact us outside of this speakeasy that we're doing here, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for coming to our TED Talk. You can contact us on Instagram at CMCT_show. We're also on Facebook at CMCT Show. You can find us on YouTube live, running concurrent with our Instagrams at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern at CMCT_show. That's on YouTube once again. Nextly, we're on Twitter, tweeting, tweaking, whatever, at CMCT_show. You can also find us in a more intimate place where we receive emails, attachments to these emails. You feel me? And that's at cmctshow@gmail.com. You can also inbox us somewhere like TikTok. Maybe. Do we have access to that? It exists. It exists. And it is at CMCT_show. Now, most importantly, if you wanted to donate, if you found it on your heart, you know what I'm saying? If you wanted to treat us like the Goodwill, the Salvation Army, I don't know, somebody looking for their last, real good high. Because we might need that, as these light bills is going to be high as shit, because we got lights in damn near every room, and these motherfuckers is hot, and they is expensive. You can find us on Linktree at CMCT_show, and all of our payment options are there. We also have a couple of services that we're offering on there now. Number one, you can tip us there. If you didn't get to tip us here on Instagram or on YouTube, you can tip us after hours. Don't be shy. You know what I'm saying? We encourage that. But we also offer not counseling, but venting sessions. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and contact us. We got $59 an hour special right now for venting sessions. Feel free to book us anytime. We also offer personalized videos. Mm-hmm. You feel me? 2 minutes for $20. And then lastly, we also offer an interview service, which is $75 for a 20-minute interview that is offline, so we can tweak it, get it down to perfection, whatever effects or certain edits that you want on it. We can do that before we actually post it online. But more importantly, go ahead and tip us on there so we can keep these lights on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Lastly, this good man, great brother.
Thank you.
He has an Instagram. You probably never would have guessed it, but he does have an Instagram. And that is at Darkan2000, DARKAN 2000. He also has a Twitter. I don't know if anyone noticed, but I'm getting pretty good at this. I'm not even looking at the paper, baby. I done figured it out. You know what I'm saying? His Twitter is at Darkan ENT DARKANENT. And lastly, my Instagram, y'all probably noticed. Facebook, maybe you knew it, maybe you didn't. Some of y'all be jumping over here when his shit cuts off at the hour mark. It's all good, and we appreciate y'all for tuning in. My Instagram is _dosage, DOSAGE. And my music Instagram is _MA. I got one project dropping this month on the 21st, and then another project next month on the 24th. You can find me on all streaming platforms. I'm on TikTok, even on Instagram. Just look me up, The Dosage. And then me and my cousin's project is also currently out. That's Mania Asylum, MAINEY Asylum, ASYLUM. Please enjoy our 5-song project. We also have a music video on YouTube. We're available on all streaming platforms. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. The 1 minute mark.
Black man got a lot going on.
Did it, baby.
Love it. Absolutely. We appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. And we look forward to everything that's coming in the rest of this week. Look into being with us this Thursday as we discuss what's going on in pop culture and also Q&A. If you have any questions,
correct,
hit us then. But we look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday night. God bless you all tonight.
God damn it. Listen, I thought I had it I thought I had it queued up.
We had it together last week.
Yeah, I had it together last week. Oh, she says she loves this show, and we are amazing.
Thank you, John. We love you. What's up, the real KD?
Thank you. Of course, it's not going to connect. We just after hours right now, doing our thing, slowly but surely.
Show don't end until the music drops.
I'm trying, baby. I'm trying. Look, luckily this is not no pay-per-view or no live cable time slot.
Under 20 seconds left.
They be charging our ass up right now, wouldn't they? God damn it. Listen, man. I'm going to just play it from the phone. Fuck it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. We greatly appreciate y'all. If I could find the song now. Well, there we go. Sure. Muscles on this lonely pack. As they call me fact. I've been on the grind so long, hoes could never call me that. Please keep it short. I don't speak for all the rap. I'm your kid. I disconnected that and everything. Keep throwing darts at wax. It's only a $240